So today I got a new art journal. It was recommended by another creator that I follow, so I decided to get it because it has 100% cotton paper, which makes this journal a little unique. And I decided to get pink because I wanted to be able to spot it on my shelf of all the other black journals that I have. So I wanted to show you what I do to get past my initial fear with a brand new journal today. So what I am going to use today, I'm going to use a combination, as I often like to for my journal, a combination of gouache and watercolor. So this is primary white, magenta, primary black, cyan. This is primary yellow in Windsor and Newton watercolor, and permanent yellow deep. And then this is Hooker's Green in M. Graham. So what I usually do is, instead of actually starting on the very first page, which is a little bit more intimidating, is I jump to the very back of the book for the inauguration of putting paint down on the surface. So that's what I'm going to do quickly today. And I've got a quick reference photo. It's basically mostly green, but it's what I had around. So I'm just going to do something quick and down and dirty right here in the back. I started in my drawing with some broad watercolor washes to get comfortable with being loose. I used the tip of my brush to at least do a basic outline of my primary flowers. I decided to only group 2 flowers versus all the multitude of flowers that was actually in my reference photo. By the way, yes, that is my own reference photo that I took with my own camera. I tend to be a bit controlling in my artwork, so I think quick exercises like this are very helpful for me personally, and they might be helpful for you as well. Using watercolor as washes in areas where you want things to be more accurate can also cause a small bit of anxiety, at least for me. Because I can be a bit too controlling with my artwork at times, I often use graphite to start, especially when I'm striving for accuracy. I didn't want this particular painting to be overly tight, though. I wanted it to be a quick painting session, not a long drawn out painting session, but I will say that I started to get a little bogged down trying to still push in those details, and this painting still took me 45 minutes. So I will suggest to you that if you are just trying to get into your journal, you don't have to do a real painting. You could do some swatches of color just to get a feeling of how the paper feels with your watercolor and with your brushes. Or you could do just small flowers, just individual flowers. You don't have to go for a full page at all. So that's just also a suggestion for you. I do love the more loose areas where I've allowed the water to be my guide for the color. And I think that's the appeal of watercolor in itself. It has almost a meditative feel about it, a very earthy feeling, possibly. I will say that this field of green in my background did help move this painting on, not make it quite as difficult and quite as easy for me to get lost in trying to incorporate those details that I normally would do. So initially I used a large brush to put in my initial washes, and then I moved on to a smaller brush. The brush I'm using here is a Trekell number 2 Onyx 8010 round brush. Currently I only have this one particular Trekell brush. I also love my Raphael brush. That's another brush that's really good. And I will put references in the notes below to the details of the actual brushes that I used. While I only have the one watercolor Trekell brush, I have been using their brushes for oil painting for a couple years now, and I highly recommend them. Because I believe in their quality, I signed up for their affiliate program. If you're interested in trying them, and you use the link provided in the details down below, this channel may get a small commission, so full disclosure. But of course your support will be very appreciated. I wouldn't recommend something that I myself haven't used or highly recommend. I feel that they have a very reasonable price point as well, and I know a lot of well-known artists use these brushes as well. So that's something else to consider. That said, I'm a big advocate of staying within my budget. I have a whole bunch of different types of brushes in my collection at this point. Many of them I've gotten on discount, many of them I've gotten at stores like Michael's and Joann Fabrics and Hobby Lobby, so that is also an option because you might find something on sale. It's basically just comes down to what works for you. However, I am a firm believer in buying the best materials I can afford. Even if I don't buy a whole set of something, I try to get a few. Believe it or not, there's a very big difference in high quality, high dollar paint and the lower quality, cheaper paint. That's where I find out value versus quality shows up the most. I will say overall, I enjoyed the performance of the paper. I typically don't like painting on textured watercolor paper, but me being the kind of detailed individual that I am, I like to have a little bit more control. So I really enjoyed actually doing a watercolor in this journal, and I'm looking forward to filling that up moving forward. So I will definitely recommend this journal as well. It's the Paul Rubens journal that you can find on Amazon. I do not have a link for that, but I will definitely mention the title of the journal in the details down below as well. So once I concluded all my washes, I reverted back to using my Prismacolors as a quick way to wrap this painting up. Well, I guess that wraps up this week's video, guys. I hope that it provided you with some information. It encouraged you to not be afraid of a brand new journal, and maybe at least to find this as a quick workaround to jump in there and not be afraid of that first page. It can be pretty intimidating, so I completely get it, but this is my suggestion. Okay guys, well, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Bye.